Look at your backyard right now. The chairs, the potted plants, the small dish under the flower pot sitting in the corner near the fence. It looks like an ordinary outdoor space. Nothing alarming, nothing out of place, but hidden inside that little dish, sitting in less than a teaspoon of still water, is a breeding site. And most homeowners walk right past it every single day without a second thought. Here's the alarming part. A single female mosquito can lay up to 300 eggs at a time, and those eggs can hatch in as little as 24 hours under the right conditions. That means, in 1 week, from one tiny puddle you never noticed, you can go from 0 mosquitoes to a full-blown infestation surrounding your home. Not one bug, not 10 bugs. Hundreds, breeding in places you haven't even thought to check. For years, people focused on sprays and citronella candles. And for years, the mosquito population kept coming back. Then, pest professionals started noticing a pattern. The issue wasn't just killing the adults. It was intercepting them before they ever reached the people inside the home. And that's exactly what we're going to break down today. If you're new here, subscribe now. We cover hidden pest threats, prevention strategies, and real inspection findings that most homeowners never hear about until it's already too late. Let's start with the first clue most people completely miss: standing water. At first, it looks harmless. A forgotten bucket after a rainstorm. A clogged gutter holding an inch of debris-filled water. A tray under a potted plant that refills every time you water. But that explanation has a problem. People assume mosquitoes only breed in large bodies of water: ponds, swamps, drainage ditches. What pest inspectors know, however, is that Aedes mosquitoes, the same species responsible for dengue, Zika, and chikungunya, prefer small, contained water sources: bottle caps, tree holes, old tires. Any container holding water for more than 72 hours becomes a viable breeding site. The second clue is even easier to overlook: timing. Most homeowners notice mosquitoes at dusk and assume they're coming from somewhere far away, a neighbor's property, a nearby creek. But pest professionals use CO2 monitoring traps to track mosquito movement, and what they consistently find is that the highest concentration of activity originates within 100 to 300 feet of where people are standing. They weren't passing through. They were living there, in your yard, in your eaves, under your deck, right where you couldn't see them. The third clue is the one that shocks people the most: attractive scents. Mosquitoes don't just find you by sight. They track carbon dioxide, body heat, lactic acid from sweat, and even specific floral fragrances from plants in your yard. That means your outdoor dining area, your garden, even certain outdoor candles are pulling them in. And once they locate the source, they return. Every night, methodically. Now, here's where it gets strange. The most effective mosquito traps don't look like traps at all. They look like ordinary objects. And that's exactly what makes them work. The first trap is a dark container trap. Fill a dark-colored bucket or bottle with water and a small amount of hay or grass clippings. The decomposing organic material releases carbon dioxide and microbial compounds that mimic the scent of a human host. Female mosquitoes are drawn to it to lay eggs. What they find instead is a dead end. When you add a larvicide tablet, available at any hardware store, every egg laid in that trap is eliminated before it hatches. Set one near your fence line and one near your garden. Check every 5 days. The second trap uses yeast and sugar. Mix 1 cup of warm water, 1 tablespoon of sugar, and a 1/4 teaspoon of active dry yeast in a plastic bottle, with the top cut and inverted. The fermentation produces steady CO2 output for up to 14 days. Mosquitoes follow the plume straight into the bottle and can't escape. It costs almost nothing. And in field testing, this trap has captured over 40 adult mosquitoes per week in heavily infested backyards. The third is a sticky yellow trap baited with a small amount of fruit or vinegar placed near low-lying vegetation. Mosquitoes rest in shaded, humid spots during the day. A trap placed at knee height along a fence or garden border targets their resting behavior directly. Pest control data shows that daytime resting traps can reduce adult mosquito populations by up to 30% in a treated zone within 2 weeks. The fourth trap leverages light and heat. A UV LED trap combined with a small fan creates negative pressure that pulls in mosquitoes attracted to light and warmth. These units, when placed outdoors 20 to 30 feet from a seating area, intercept mosquitoes before they reach your guests. Studies from the University of Florida's entomology department found that fan-based traps reduced landing rates on human subjects by up to 65% in controlled outdoor settings. The fifth trap is the ovet trap, a term used by professional vector control agencies. It's a dark container lined with a strip of rough fabric or filter paper sitting just above the waterline. Mosquitoes lay eggs on the fabric strip instead of the water. You remove and destroy the strip weekly, eliminating an entire generation before it ever hatches. Many counties use ovet traps to monitor local mosquito populations. You can replicate the same system in your backyard in under 5 minutes. The sixth trap is the most overlooked of all. It's your rain gutter. Cleaned, unclogged, fitted with a fine mesh cover. Not a trap in the traditional sense, but pest professionals call it a passive elimination point, because a properly maintained gutter eliminates one of the most common, most productive mosquito breeding zones on any residential property. Inspectors have found gutter systems producing thousands of larvae in a single season, enough to sustain a persistent infestation for an entire summer. Now, does every mosquito in your yard mean your home is at serious risk? Probably not. But that doesn't make any of these warning signs unimportant. Mosquito-borne illness transmission is a genuine public health concern, and the CDC reports that cases of West Nile virus remain active across North American states every summer. The risk isn't theoretical, it's seasonal, and it begins the moment you let those breeding sites go unchecked. Here's the larger lesson. Mosquito control is not a single action. It's a system. Eliminate the water sources, deploy the traps, interrupt the breeding cycle. Each of these 6 traps addresses a different part of the mosquito's behavior. And when you combine even 3 or 4 of them, you fundamentally change the environment around your home. But here is the question that most people never ask. What's breeding where you can't see? Behind the wall-mounted air conditioning unit, dripping condensation into a hidden tray. Inside the roof void, where water pools after heavy rain. In the gap between your deck boards, where moisture collects and never fully dries, the traps you set in your visible space work. But the sites you never found keep feeding the cycle. Somewhere in or around your property right now, there is standing water you haven't checked in weeks. It's quiet, it's dark, and it's working against you without making a single sound. If this video helped you see your property differently, hit that like button and subscribe for more investigative pest control content every week. And watch our next video to find out what's living inside your walls that no trap will ever catch.